Some new... Oh, I was not ready for that. Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for tuning in to what's going to be a quick little review of some new e.l.f. highlighting duos. They have been cranking out the products like crazy lately, and so I feel like I have and will continue to keep talking about them. I was lucky enough for them to send these to me, so I got them free through PR, and I want to share my thoughts on these because, first of all, I am not over highlighters. Contour I could leave, you know, metallic eyes, they're nice, but I'll catch it the next time it trends. Highlighters for me are like my crack. I love them, and these in particular are iridescent, like color shifting highlighters. Think like Kat Von D's Prism palette, and so I was all over them, so I'm going to talk about some of these today. So e.l.f. has launched 3 prismatic highlight duos, each of which retail for $8, and you get a good amount of product in each one, along with a nice sized mirror. Oh, I'm gonna blind you. A nice sized mirror in this compact too. The one that I'm currently holding up is Sirens Call, and this is one that I opened up and I was a little intimidated by because this looks orange, but it's not. When you actually apply it, this is more of a soft peach shade, and then you have this gorgeous cream with a gold shift, and together they look really, really beautiful, either paired together or worn individually. Then in Blue Lagoon, you have 2 more true sheer iridescent shades. On one side, you have an iridescent blue-green, and on the other, you have an iridescent blue-purple that shifts from like a translucent / white base. And I really like how both of these have a blue undertone. In some palettes or collections where there are just a cluster of these iridescent shades, they seem to have like their primary colors, you know, chosen together, but they don't necessarily all go together. And even though you wouldn't necessarily place green and purple together, the fact that they have that blue undertone to them ties them together really nicely. And then the last duo they have is Mermaid's Tail, and this is the one that I am wearing today, so I'll show a quick demo of me applying. On one side you have an iridescent pink, and again that has a similar sort of cool blue undertone, and then on the other side you have a purple that also has that same indigo blue undertone as well. In the pan it looks like the 2 purples from Mermaid's Tail and Blue Lagoon are going to be very similar, but the one in Blue Lagoon has more of a teal blue leaning, whereas the one in Mermaid's Tail has more of a purple blue leaning. So they are totally separate or totally different if you want to get each individual duo. You won't see any overlap there. The reason I wanted to apply and wear Mermaid's Tail for this video is because the purple in this palette, well actually the combination of shades, but specifically the iridescent purple in this palette reminds me of one that I absolutely fell in love with in the Makeup Addiction Cosmetics Holy Glow Volume 2 palette. I talked about this in a dedicated highlighter video I did, where I talk about how I apply my highlighter, which might seem very basic, but I had a life-changing moment specifically with this palette, and so I'll spare you the details here, but if you're interested in how I like to apply not 1, but actually kind of 2 shades in my day-to-day highlight routine, definitely go check that video out. I will click the eye up here, I'll link it down below. But in that video, I am using one of my favorite highlight shades, which is this gorgeous, it doesn't look like much in the pan because it's this iridescent purple that shifts from a translucent white kind of shade. But I mean, oh my god. And see, that doesn't even do it justice, it just looks chalky. But when it's swatched, it's like this vibrant, iridescent purple shade, and I love wearing it right up in my outer corner, just underneath the outer corner of my eye where it meets my cheekbone. This palette from Makeup Addiction Cosmetics is more expensive, and it is a little bit harder to find. It's not as readily available as e.l.f. is, where you can order it easily online, or now they have a flagship store. I think they just have the one in New York, but it's just a little bit harder to get your hands on the Makeup Addiction Cosmetics palette, and so I was hoping this might be a sneaky little dupe. Unfortunately, no dupe here. The shade is close, but across the board with these duos, the powders tend to be a little bit less pigmented, which is going to be great for someone who doesn't want some blinding, you know, iridescent green highlight on their cheeks. This is definitely going to be for someone who wants to dabble in these kinds of pigments, but isn't necessarily comfortable going full tilt mermaid scales on their face, if you know what I'm saying. These might be a little bit more in your comfort zone, but for someone who might want something that's a little bit more in your face and pigmented, these might fall a little short. They're a little chalky, that they're not patchy, but it does take a little bit of layering up because they lack that pigmentation, and then because they have a more chalky consistency, dry, patchy texture tends to come through more quickly as you start to layer it up to build that pigmentation. And like I said, that's true in general across the board for the formulas in these duos. That's not to say they're bad at all. They're still super affordable at $8, but are they any dupe for, you know, something like this? No. The Makeup Addiction Cosmetics just tends to be a little bit more richly pigmented, smoother, more easily built before it starts developing that sort of white cast and chalky texture. But that's not to say these e.l.f. duos aren't good. I definitely think they have a place in your makeup routine if you're into this kind of makeup effect. And you can get them really affordably. And like I said before, or maybe I didn't say it outright, but I kind of danced around it. I just like how each of these duos was paired together. Like I said, the cohesive undertone, and just in general, when you swatch these two together, they were paired very nicely, whether you want to wear them alone or together. So those are my thoughts on these duos. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to know if you're going to check them out. Let me know in the comments down below. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.